Has a go and scores majestically.
Oh my word! Fabulous!
Oh, what a strike that is. Simply spectacular.
Oh, it's an absolute beauty, isn't it?
The best goal of the night.
It all starts here.
Hello and welcome to this week's show as we look back on another eventful weekend in the National League. Plenty of goals, late drama, and Matty Taylor returning to Wealdstone. More on that very soon. But first, I need to catch up with my old pal. Aaron, I missed the last one. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Unfortunately, you wasn't able to make the last one, but brilliant chat with Kevin and Kyle Lisbie. And yeah, really enjoyable week.
6 games in the National League this weekend. We're going to have a look at them now, starting with Wealdstone versus Solihull. Obviously, the big talking point, Matty Taylor going back to his old club. What did you make on that appointment?
I think it was a good appointment. I think Matty Taylor, obviously a young manager, did really well in terms of the way that his style of play transitioned at Wealdstone. And now, obviously, it's an opportunity to go and take over Solihull, who are a team that would obviously love to be doing better than they are, have had success in terms of getting into the playoffs, so close to getting promotion into the Football League. So they'll be hoping that Matty Taylor will be able to bring his fresh ideas and almost just bring a fresh look to the whole Solihull squad.
And on the pitch, Alex Reid returned back to Wealdstone and got the opening goal. So that's a big plus for the Wealdstone supporters to have him back.
Absolutely. I wasn't surprised to see Alex Reid on the score sheet, to be honest. That seems like he's home. That's where he's comfortable. He scores goals whenever he's there, and went for a few games, came back, and it was written that he was gonna bag on his return.
Good point for Matty Taylor, Solihull.
Brilliant point. I think that the important thing was for them to get something from the game and start off on the right foot. I'm sure he'll be looking to build on that, but yeah, a strong point.
A great result as well for FC Halifax, winning 2-0 against bottom side Ebbsfleet. Before we talk about their playoff chances, have we seen the goal of the season?
Possibly. This was an unbelievable strike.
There's a lot of noise on social media saying, give him the Puskas now. Is that one step too far?
I'd say it's a little bit too far at the moment. But listen, take nothing away from the strike. If you go on YouTube, I've definitely got one of them in my locker somewhere. So yeah.
Was YouTube around when you were playing?
Yeah, maybe just started. But yeah, fabulous strike, and it will definitely be pushing for it.
Ebbsfleet's season looks over anyway. But as for FC Halifax, what do you make of their chances of the playoffs?
Very good. They're always strong in terms of they don't concede many goals. What they needed was to make sure that they're converting their chances, to make sure that they're scoring goals, because they are a team that has the ability to go on a run. And even if they're winning games just 1-0, they've got the ability to go on winning runs. So I do think as the season continues to progress, they will be the team that once you get to the playoffs, you don't really want to play against them because they're very difficult to score against.
Tamworth versus Barnet, Callumstead's goal, the difference on a 4G pitch. They just seem unstoppable at the minute.
Yeah, they do. And this was a massive result for Barnet. Tamworth have only lost twice at home coming into this game. And so far, coming into the National League this season, they've shown how competitive they can be. They've shown what a good outfit they are, especially at home. So for Barnet to be able to go there and come away with all 3 points, now that's 4 wins on the bounce. After going 4 games, drawing 4 games in a row, they needed to go on a winning run. They've now done that. And now I think it's 6 points clear at the top of the division. Dean Brennan will be feeling pretty confident at the moment.
How much of that is down to the fact that me and you spent the day with Dean Brennan?
I'd say that's the biggest part. I'd say we've gone there, we've given them huge confidence and motivation, and now they're going from strength to strength. So yeah, we can give ourselves a pat on the back.
We love late drama in football. York City got a valuable 3 points against Dagenham and Redbridge. Just how crucial is it?
It's massive. And like we said, because Barnet are top of the division and they're winning, York have got games in hand. They've got a couple of games in hand, but they need, in order for those games in hand to mean anything, they need to continue picking up 3 points. And I'm a little bit on the fence with these decisions because I don't think it's a red card for Ollie Pearce, but I don't think it's a penalty for the winner. So, all in all, it's a massive, massive 3 points for York. And they'll be going away from this weekend thinking, you know what, we've got away with one here, because if they'd have not got 3 points from that game, it looks a bit tricky.
You might not have agreed with the penalty decision, but can we agree that Junior Luamba's skill in the build-up is nothing short of sensational?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They're the moments that you live for in football. A moment of sheer quality, and after, dancing between two players, then goes and wins the penalty. Whether it's a penalty or not, he goes through and wins the penalty. And that's the key moment. That's what separates the two teams. So, yeah, a huge congratulations to him.
Did you have that skill in your locker?
Absolutely not.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah, and skills weren't my game. I was about goals.
Okay, so producer Josh has been scouring the internet, looking to see what you, the fans, have been talking about on social media. Sticking with York, Liam Holmes has said Tyrese Sinclair is having an underrated season. 7 goals at this stage for a wide player is decent. He really works hard defensively too. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Tyrese is a player who has, for me, should be playing in the Football League. I remember speaking to him in the summer before he signed for York, and he had opportunities to go into the Football League, decided to go to York, which I looked and thought, that's an interesting one. But clearly, when you look at the trajectory that York are on, what they're trying to do and their ambitions, you can totally see why he went there. And having a player like him with his quality and his experience, that can only be good for York. And you can see them. That's kind of why they are where they are and on the right path.
Okay, moving on to Barnet. Charlie, the Bees fan, says an impressive result, sign of a good side with a different type of win, gritty and grinded it out. He's probably spot on there, isn't he?
He's nailed it. But I think that's what's so good about Barnet, is that they can win in different ways. I think throughout their team, from back to front, they're just strong. They've got a really strong spine, and someone like Callum Stead, who's got that bit of quality. They've got those types of players. Zach Brunt, bit of quality. They're littered with that type of player, but the strength throughout their team is outstanding. And again, a team unbeaten at home this season, but can go away, dog it out, and come away with 3 points.
Okay, Adam Keeley, an Oldham fan, says class away support again. Fondop second half was superb. It wasn't pretty, but we got what's needed. Pet again with a delightful / dangerous delivery. How excited were those Oldham fans when Mike Fondop got the winner? And again, a late goal. Is that the best time to score a goal?
Oh, absolutely. Because that goal is going to be the winner. The reaction from the crowd, the reaction from the players and everyone associated with Oldham was, it gave me goosebumps just watching it. And I've got absolutely no association to the club. So, yeah, they're the magic moments that you live for as a player and as a supporter. So, big 3 points for Oldham. Difficult place to go to get that last minute winner. Was brilliant for Oldham, and that hopefully for them will get them on a roll and fund up another 2 goals. That's 13 for the season now. Yeah,
if you could bottle up those emotions in the terraces and sell them, you'd be a very, very rich man. Okay, looking ahead to tonight's multi-match live game on DAZN, Dagenham Redbridge versus Forest Green Rovers. How do you see this one going?
Well, it's a big game for both. Forest Green, to start off, near the top of the division, again, need to just keep winning now. They're a few points behind on Barnet, and even if they win their games in hand, they will still go a point behind Barnet. So that in order to keep touching distance, they need to make sure that they're picking up maximum points. They're coming up against a Dagenham team that are struggling at the moment. They've got, obviously, new management team in charge. They are desperate to try and find some kind of performance to try and get Youngie's message across. And once he does that, I'm sure that Dagenham will start to go in the right direction.
Yeah, and Rochdale and Oldham share the same ambition of trying to make the playoffs. That's the other game we've got on DAZN this evening. How do you see this one panning out?
Well, this is a tough one because, like you say, 2 teams vying to get into the playoffs. Rochdale, a lot of games to make up in a short space of time. So it's going to be important that they can try and get on a run now and start getting some more points on the board, just to make their position look a little bit healthier. At the moment, they're just dicing on the edge. But that is purely because of games played. Oldham will need to continue the progress that they've just made and now start to put a run together and consolidate their position in the playoffs. So to see totally different styles, two good teams, definitely makes for a very, very good game.
And FC Halifax taking on Fylde. Kevin Phillips just needs to get a win, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's tough for Kevin. We've seen him a few times recently, and again, the weekend just falling short in the final minute. So he'll be desperate to try and get some kind of confidence into the lads. It is heartbreaking when you lose right in the dying embers of the game, but I think there is definitely progression from what we've seen, and I think he'll just be desperate to try and get maximum points on the board.
We've spoken a little bit about the goals that we've seen, the late drama. It's now time for you to pick your top 3 goals of the weekend. So let's kick things off. Number 3, who have you gone for?
Well, number 3, I've gone for Jermaine Francis. I just think this is a magnificent little bit of individual quality. Once he picks the ball up, he has one thing in his mind, shifts it onto his left foot, bends it into that far corner. Very, very difficult technique, but executed perfect.
And a great point for Braintree. They left it late, Hartlepool, to share the points, so they'll be disappointed with that, Braintree, but a good point.
To be in number
You
one.
were umming, weren't you?
Yeah, I just looking in a tight game, small margins, you need that moment of quality. Hallamstead again pops up with that moment. Fantastic volley, and gets the 3 points for top of the table, Barnet.
I think we all know who's at number 1. Erin, take it away.
Yeah, it's Jamie Cook. A fantastic strike. Again, another very McLean-esque kind of finish. But yeah, technique, balance, execution, outstanding, and definitely a goal of the season contender.
Absolutely right. Let us know on social media if you agree with Erin's top 3. But come back after the break, because we have the second part of our interview with Braintree's Kyrell Lisbie and his dad, Kevin.
"47 years of promoting boxing. What a ride it's been." I was 23 years old at the time. I got an invite from the Boxing Board of Control to take a licence out. Back then, it was all run by the cartel.
We have a new promoter in British Championship Boxing, Frank Warren.
People liked it, I think, the fact that someone was taking the cartel on. I've never been afraid about shaking things up and working with new media.
This is a bit of a dream come true.
Pay-per-view, satellite TV.
Very proud of Amir. What he done was fantastic.
Bringing shows in from America Live. I've been lucky enough to promote some of the biggest names in boxing.
I'd like to thank Mr. Frank Warren for having me over here.
Just when you think it can't get any bigger, my mobile rang. We get this call from His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Off we went to the races. I'm as competitive as my fighters, and I fight for my fighters. I'm always looking for the next challenge, and I know there's one there now.
Queensbury arrives at the home of boxing, DAZN, multi-year deal, let's go.
This is a company that is devoted to boxing. They have a worldwide platform. And for us, that is very, very important to do what Queensbury is doing, to be expanding and building, working together for the betterment of boxing, as I believe it will be.
DAZN is the global home of women's football, bringing you the best live games. With the biggest stars, battling it out in the biggest competitions.
Cue the chaos! First blood in the title
title decider. Would you believe it?
Witness every season-defining moment.
Written in the stars!
Live and on demand. Only on DAZN.
Tonight we are bringing you a multi-match live again. Our main game will feature Dagenham Redbridge taking on Forest Green. But as always, we will have all the goals and updates from the National League games taking place. Join myself and Erin from 7:15. Now it's time to bring you part 2 of our interview with Kyrell and Kevin Lisbie.
Your dad's sitting there. How important has he been for you in your progression?
Massively important, not even just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. My dad comes to home, away games, he's always there in the car giving me feedback, what I could have done better, what I done well. At home, he, like I say, he knows when to switch off and be a good father, a role model to me, my brothers and my sister as well. He's a massive part of my life.
Obviously for you, Kev, you coached your boys, you're now seeing them, going on, and Kyrell doing brilliant in the National League, Kyrie's obviously at Brentford. How proud are you to see the man that he's grown into now?
Yeah, I think for me, when you're coaching your kids, and I'm sure most parents who actually decide to do that, it's not the best idea, but it was really important that they had certain values that we installed in them, and I think that's probably the most important part. Look, the footballing thing, there's so many relatable skills that you can learn through life into football, and it was important that I did that and made sure that when they came out the other side in terms of coaching and football, that they still had those values when they went home, and they were respectable and well-behaved young men. And when you talk about being proud, I think that I'm most proud of the fact that they're entering this journey and they're coming out the other side of it, but they've maintained the values that me and their mum has instilled in them.
Your dad told us about when you got released from Lane Orient, and then your dad booked the pitch direct, the time straight after. How was that for you and your brother?
It was very, very tough. Like you said, it was just got released, and you're seeing all of your boys, they're your friends you still speak to, and you're there without a club and they're training, and that was very, very difficult. But, my dad just reminded us that we have to get through this difficult stage, and I think it was good that we trained there. It just brought resilience, and it just made us want to push harder and get that next club, and I think it definitely helped us. But yeah, it was really, really tough at the time, being released and seeing, your ex-teammates training and improving, and you're there, going the long way around. So it was definitely difficult.
What's your standout moment for you so far?
Obviously, walking out at the Valley, and that was more to do with, I know what that meant to him to play against Charlton. I remember when obviously they done the draw, and it was and they pulled out Charlton, and then you think there's no way Craig Valley is going to come out, and then you see Craig Valley, and it's sort of like, I remember watching it, it was like, we talk about that out-of-body experience, and I felt like I was watching it from somewhere else, and then you see Craig Valley, and it's like a 5-second pause, and then he's like, oh my gosh. And I know he was excited as well. So to see him not only go to the Valley and walk out, but perform, and they got a good result as well, 1-1 against a League One side who were going for promotion. I think that was a clear indication to him that he could do it. And I think there was like a trigger moment that actually I can achieve what I want to achieve now rather than later. So that was a good moment for me.
In terms of you've had a brilliant career. Do you see any similarities in your boys to how you was, whether it be in their ability performance-wise, or whether it be in, like you say, in their mentality and their resilience?
Yeah, definitely resilience, because that stems a lot from the training and obviously passing on my experiences. But in terms of watching them play, the hunger and desire in the game, and the yards that they cover to get the ball and to be involved in the game and to influence the game. They've got a real hunger to influence games. So not only do they want to win games, they want to be a massive part of winning the game, which is something that I needed and had when I was a young boy. So yeah, he's obviously both-footed. I was only 1 foot.
Was barely 1 foot.
I was quick enough to run around it though.
Obviously, you're both very humble and well-grounded individuals. Is it your faith that keep you so humble?
Yeah, I would say. I think there has to be something bigger than us. There has to be. You have to believe that you are not it, and I think that's quite important to me, to believe that anything I get comes from something else. I believe that I'm not the end and be all, and I believe if I work hard and pray hard and apply stuff into my life, that I will get the results out of it. And it's why I'm trying to help others as well. And I think it's important that good people do good things as well. So that's really important to me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, my football and my faith has always been, 2 and 2 together. Put my faith in Jesus, and even getting released from Watford, there's more to football. And I think, going to church and getting that strength to keep going, because football is tough and it can be mentally draining sometimes. But obviously going to church and just strengthening my faith in God, it allows you to, believe in yourself a bit more and trust that He has a better plan for you. So 100%, my faith is very important for me when it comes to football.
Yeah, I have a real desire to help the next generation and see kids get better. And that for me, we talk about faith and that, but I also believe that I'm here for a reason as well. I have to believe I'm here for a reason, and it's got to be bigger than myself. And to see the looks in these kids' face when I turn up and I give them these advice, it's coming from an ex-Premiership player, and to see and hear their players, their parents tell me they've applied it in a game, and that gives me some real feel. Obviously, I work in the school as well, and some days you go in there and you're not feeling well, and then you speak to a young boy or a young girl and you help them through it, and all of a sudden that weight you had is lifted because you've helped someone else. And that's really important to me, and those sort of moments there keep me going.
You give a huge amount of credit to your mum, your wife, Joanna. What messages individually would you give to young players hoping to follow in both of your footsteps?
For me, like you said, it was just finding that, why in your life, and that why was obviously my dad and my mum, just making them proud. And for me, I hope one day that I can look back and just give, because my whole life growing up, my mum especially, just all she's ever done is just give. So I want to be in a situation where I can just, hear I take this and just relax, because she's worked so hard. She's not there out there training me, but like I said, at home, the emotional side of things, and she puts everything into making sure I'm, like, even games and stuff, like she'll prepare food for me, she'll go above and beyond to make sure I'm okay. I'm giving myself the best chances in football, and that's what she'll do at home. And I don't have the words to describe how much I love my mum, and I just want to make sure I'm in a position where I can just give to her in the future.
I think it's important that young kids, as God knows, is find out the why you want to do something. I think there's a number of reasons kids train or want to become footballers, but I think it's important that they find out why they want to do that. I think a lot of them do it, so they want to leave the house, they want to get out of the house, they want to do something that's going to make them feel good about themselves. And as well as, not all of them are going to become professional footballers. So it's important that they find out why they want to do it. And on that journey, you might venture off and go somewhere, and all those values you learn through training, you might then apply them in different forms of your life. So I think it's quite important that you find out why, and you're open-minded to try different things on your way to becoming a professional footballer, and not closed-minded and thinking football's only it. I think there's a lot of life skills and values that you can learn through trying to become a footballer that you maybe can apply in your real life.
Well, guys, thank you very much again. Thank you so much for inviting us into your home. It's been brilliant talking to you. I do think we need a Joanna shirt up there eventually, because because she is definitely an unsung hero, but was you're an inspiration to so many, and long may it continue.
A brilliant interview by the main man, Aaron McLean, there with the Lisbies. It looked nice and cosy in that gaff.
Yeah, it was. Listen, it was brilliant for them to invite us into their home. And they both spoke so brilliantly. Two very positive individuals. And Kevin obviously has had an amazing career, and Kyrell looking to follow in his dad's footsteps. And and try and make waves and inspire people along the way.
How difficult do you think it is for someone like Tyrell, whose dad, such an iconic figure in the Premier League, scored that hat-trick against Liverpool? Is that quite difficult? Does he get the comparison a lot to his dad?
Probably not at the moment, but I do think as you progress, it's hard not to compare sons to their fathers, as you progress in your career. So I do think that he will have a bright future, him and, Kyrie's as well, who's obviously at Brentford at the moment. I do think he'll have a good career, and I do think he'll play Football League. Whether or not they can hit the heights that their father hit remains to be seen.
And the National League is a great place for strikers to get the attention of people watching, because every game is on DAZN now. You can see it live. So the scouts and that can physically see these players playing.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. From when I was started out in the National League to now, the visibility is, second to none. Players week in, week out are being spoken about in the Football League. It's easy to be able to go and see them on live on DAZN at any point. Go on the DAZN platform, you can catch every single game. So I do think there's a better opportunity for these players to be able to go on, be seen and move on. And I think as the years have progressed, teams are now realising that there's a whole host of top quality players at that level. The standard has continuously risen each season. And now it's not so much of a gamble to go and pluck a player from the National League, because chances are if they're doing it in the National League, they're going to be able to go and do it in the Football League as well.
Yeah, there is plenty of talent on display in the National League, and you can catch all the games live on DAZN. Starting tonight, we are bringing you multi-match live again. The main game will feature Dagenham and Redbridge taking on Forest Green, but we will have all the goals and updates from all the National League games. You can join us from 7:15 for that one. Also, catch the goals and action from this week's round of the National League with our highlight show exclusively live on DAZN every Sunday from 4 p.m. Join us for the UEFA Women's Champions League draw show on Friday. We are live at 11:30 a.m. to find out who will be playing who in the quarters and semis in the UEFA Women's Champions League. And after the draw, we can turn our attention to the knockouts. The two legs of the quarter-finals will take place in March. The semis follow in April, and the final will be held in Portugal in May. You can watch it all on DAZN, the global home of the UEFA Women's Champions League. But before we go, a very special mention to probably one of the biggest shocks in FA Trophy history. Sittingbourne of Step 4 have beaten National League side Southend 1-0 at Roots Hall. Erin, that is what dreams are made for those players down in Step 4.
Absolutely. Fantastic result. I remember when I did the draw, that was the game that was the standout game for me. Sittingbourne having the opportunity to go and hit their wits against a big, one of the heavyweights, you'd probably say one of the favourites in the FA Trophy. And the job that Ryan Maxwell's doing down at Sittingbourne is second to none. I've no doubt, knowing what Ryan Maxwell's like, that he was so confident that his team would be able to go to Roots Hall and win the game. And so it turned out.
Good luck to Ryan and Sittingbourne in the next round of the FA Trophy. They're on a great run. 28 games unbeaten in all competitions. That's it from myself and Erin this week. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 6 o'clock.